It's a lovely good evening and welcome to Point of View. Remember that this is a program that is tailor-made to make sure that we get to talk about news of the week, news that have been trending, and we ask you, our lovely viewer, to come through and share your point of view over the stories that we have picked for you this particular evening, and those stories which really made headlines. My name is Lansani Banda, and of course, to help me with this program in terms of co-hosting, I have my colleague with me, that is Chaza, who will be joining me shortly. And of course, remember that the program is open for you, our lovely viewer, and we'll be so glad to hear from you. Chaza, good evening, and welcome to the program.
Good evening, Lance. How are you doing? Unfortunately, I was on mute.
Definitely.
Are you getting me
All
now?
right, I'm doing fine as well.
Thank you so much. I'm excited to be here.
Definitely. All right. So, our viewer, this is your program. Remember that you can get hold of us or you can join us right into the studio. Pamene apamweta ambira program, the studio link has been shared to you. Mungati join mu studio so that imwe naife tinkale tiyanganira ma stories pamozi, then na kuyambo sharing ma points of view yatu kapena maganizo yatu towards ma stories yamene yanachita trendy or ma stories yamene yanapanga ma headlines the whole week. There's been a lot of talk, there's been a lot of happenings, and we are super excited that we are sharing this platform with you. Do not forget, if you have just joined us or you are joining us for the very first time, you can link us up on Facebook, Ubuntu Channel Zambia, YouTube, Ubuntu Channel Zambia, as well as on Twitter, Ubuntu Channel Zambia. Now, do not just link us up, but be rest assured of being a family member. Become a member by simply subscribing, following, as well as liking our pages and our YouTube channel right there, so that you can be updated each and every time that we want to share something or as we go live on this particular platform. Now, without further ado, let's get to our first story of the evening. This has been a talk of almost each and every Zambian in the motherland, as well as Zambians that are abroad that do not support, obviously, this whole thing. Let's get to look at the first story, and then when we come back, the platform is open for you to come in, come through, share your view, and share your thought. Let's go to the first story.
Recent, among them the case of 5 boys allegedly sodomized from an Islamic school in Chongwe district. On Monday, 12 September 2022, the Zambia police also received a report from Chawama constituency where a man identified as Bright Simasiku 31 was allegedly sodomized by his employer Doris Ricardo 42 of Lilai area while sleeping in his servant's quarter at his work premises. Calmnet News also recently carried the story of a 10-year-old autistic boy from Chunga compound in Lusaka who was allegedly sodomized by his 25-year-old neighbor. In response to these happenings, Zambia Men's Network for Gender and Development National Coordinator Nelson Banda says there is need to make a strong example of those practicing sexual abuse using sodomy.
So the ministry must come on board and close down the school because it is no longer conducive for the learners to continue learning at that school. We feel that the well-being of the learners were not taken into account, and this calls for the ministry to come in to probe what was going on and report the culprits to the police, so that those who are responsible should be held to account for their actions.
Meanwhile, a clergyman, Bishop John Mambo, says there is need to close down on perpetrators, stating that these acts have become rampant after the Lusaka July festival, which was characterized by cross-dressing. He has further urged the church to lead the country in prayer against these happenings.
So there are a number of things, the July thing that you saw not long ago, where they went as men and say, well, we are promoting another thing, and then the next thing started seeing kissing. Open gayism, very soon we shall see open lesbian and things of that nature. It is very ugly for the country. And you cannot blame government all the time. We blame ourselves, I blame me. I keep on saying it's never too late. Let's go back to the mountain, confess and say we shall work for the Lord. You have that which has been abandoned, the house of prayer, where every October you are asked to do fasting and praying. Now we do that on a daily basis.
The clergyman adds that while 18th October of every year is the official day of fasting and prayer for the country, the church should pray every day for Mother Zambia. Zipporah.
Maimanzi yachoka bwanji ni udaidia TI. So na bwana tenga kuvima tape iva magwala na ti pengu ni daidia. So sana muhimu no mwamu. So mtimo nani kanga na ta ofisi ni mufunsi. Ndepe nenda kusiri kuli brother wanga na mbo mufunsa na ta manje iwe manzi yachoka bwanji ati nikankala vimanzi vichoka. Na ta unazitana chana ati kulibe. Na ta iya mwana wanga ni uzeve ni vinachitika. Ndepe akamba TI naona tabeba antu watatu. Umoza bwanika piro pamenso na kunivala kamwa. So after nika piro ijabula nipinda mula na dabani vula vovala.
These are the words of a distressed mother whose child was allegedly sodomized at a boarding school in Chongwe district. The boy is one of the victims of alleged sodomy at the Islamic school. He shares his story with me when I visited him in Lusaka's garden compound.
Napana ndogona mostewezini. Abwani konkanfaka piro kumutu anyamura. Nupeka pa beti pake. After mpeka pa beti pake. Shimikita cheti shimikita uweza mshimika. Nabwana gona ni eve abwa salamenso. Nabwamba kunivula. Abwa shitaveze funshita. Nabwana ndoza mkulu wanga kuseni. Namuta mkulu wanga. Mkulu wanga abwanuza titengu peka unyumba. Abwa mkanira titosa enda kunyumba. Enda uskulu. Nabwana nkala mbeti mwe mja na gona. Nagona bwanuza ti ndiye zoniveza chitika mailo kupasa kwa mankwala. Anpasa mankwala. Pasane futi abwabwera futi. Ashitava mene vipase msemu.
The school authorities have also confirmed the incident, saying they are still investigating.
That is something that is totally unacceptable within our religious realms. So those boys, according to the school disciplinary code, when such a thing happens, those boys are supposed to be expelled. And that's exactly what is going to be done. But it's something that we cannot do now, not until the police are done with their investigations, everything. And then we also have our own investigations. We did our own investigations. We have our own information that we received. Then we'll simply flush out those people so that we maintain sanity in the institution.
Reports of alleged sodomy have increased in the recent past. According to police, the suspects in the school incident are in custody and investigations have continued. Lufola Nkowani, ZNBC News in Lusaka.
Thank you. Let's just get to know what really happened at the school.
So ati mchana benzo chitika nishi ngatuma gona.
Wanzo shita kabwela wambo chista vaukuwa kumatako. So tentina wapisha waenda futi wabwela again. Ngipende stina tabu. Tendosha mkulu umozi nake ya alifu mwari. Tamusha wapisha wachakulu waenda. Abwa kamba tubanti gone bonse ndipeti na gona naye. Sense ntapotendoza boarding master. Twazo utin ivaso natitikila abotuza titisauze kwa liwonzi. Botuza tiwaza tupeka ku clinic. Peti na ndo wakumbusa nzana kana tia singa upeke ku clinic kwambirwa saizi wa inkani. So pa mazu kunzana titana ko office ata. Vaso ivi vaso kumutatuza ndipendenze tinaenda manje. Disciplinary committee. Tabota bauza tenu vazona. Penenze na tumina mami usiku. Abo abwera mailo kusenseni. Abo atpega police.
Meanwhile, the boarding master, identified as Abid Ali Mlenga, has refuted the claims by the boy.
Ask them so that we get information, also the proof. So tomorrow, if someone can come, we have the proof that they accepted themselves. And this is what we did. As we were waiting, someone, the one from Supata compound, is the one who came to the headmaster and told him, this is what has happened to me. Then we put it together, the matter, and that is where we started now the process until we reported to the police.
The boy has since received treatment at the University Teaching Hospital and is currently recuperating from home.
Okay. Okay, so now tell me, how are you feeling about your body? Are you experiencing any pain?
The bladder is paining.
You feel pain around the bladder?
Yes.
Were you taken to the hospital?
I went to the hospital, they gave me medicine at UCH. Yes, from there I went back to the police station. Then that's when we went to school. They told me to get my things. That's when I came home yesterday night.
Fumbe Chanda, Crown TV News, Chongwe District.
Those are the fears that have come, from those occurrences, and it's really something pathetic, I would say. Lance, what's your reaction to these stories as regards, sodomy and the like?
Well, Chaza, it's very disappointing to note what is happening in our country. And in borrowing Petauke Central Member of Parliament words in Parliament, like he said, there is a bad spirit that has befallen Zambia, which needs to be flushed out or prayed for quickly so that we get to deal with this thing. What started as a joke, or what started as a talk of the town when we talk about the Lusaka July fashion show event? Well, this is an event that has been taking place for at least more than 4 years, but this year I think it went to the extreme as we saw some indecent dressing and many things happening from there, where other people wanting maybe to follow their rights, which is not right in some way. Mind you, these are my views, which is not right in some way. They take it to be right. It's not right, and sivingachitike Chaza pandevu na ndevu sivienderana iyai. That's why when God created the world, he created male and female, and he created them in his own image. So this thing which is happening is very bad. And, coming to the children that were raped or that were made to go through that trauma, it's really bad. And from the first story of ZNBC, the school acknowledges that yes, it was happening, or they did their own investigations, and whatever information that they have will lead to checking out of those pupils or those people that are involved in that act. But of course, from Crown TV, we get another perspective of the story where the school refuses that the boarding master or their boarding master did not do such acts, and they are protecting him. For what, Chaza? It's very clear and very simple. If I'm not mistaken, Article 56 of the Constitution of Zambia does not allow a man to have carnal knowledge of a fellow man, or to allow anything to do with the LGBTQI. It's the constitution is very clear from there. Then if we get biblical, obviously even the Bible is very clear on the issues to do with same-sex marriages or same-sex canon knowledge. It is forbidden. This is one thing that made Sodom and Gomorrah to rain fire back in the Bible when God wanted to punish those people that did not want to listen to him. And it's like we want to head that way, we want to go that way. When we call ourselves a Christian nation, it's a nation that we declared ourselves as. We are a Christian nation, and therefore we should live by the Christian tenets. We should live by the Christian values. This is very bad, Chaza, and hopefully, just hopefully, this thing will be arrested as quickly as possible. The Minister of Community Development must really look into this thing, must look into this issue, since we no longer have the gender ministry, meaning that this falls into her ministry. Therefore, she has a lot of work to do. Or should I just simply say, government together with us, the citizens, have got a lot to do in making sure that we get to safeguard our children, because it has even gone to the children. It makes this thing even way bad or much more worse, because it's young people that are being sodomized, Chaza. It's not the elderly people, it's not those that would tell you that they made their own decision. Today I was reading a certain article where one man was saying, we are born gay. There's no one who is born gay. I refused with him, and I think I even commented on his post, and he blocked me, unfortunately. But nobody's born gay. That is preposterous. I don't know another word that I can use, but that's just been something you can't accept, or you can't try to bring in something by accepting it to say when you are born gay. Who told him that he was born gay? When he was born, who tested him to see if he's gay or he's bisexual or whatever? So such sentiments, it's high time that we get to arrest them while they are this young, before they get to grow bigger and much more larger. When we leave them from this stage, Chaza, this is the time that we'll see it grow into a big thing, and it will be very hard for us to manage this thing, or for us to uh, how do lawyers put it, to contain this thing. It will be very hard if we leave it in its inception, in its infancy. If we do not talk about it, if we do not act against it, then believe you me or not, years to come, it will be something that will be a norm for each and every Zambian, which we have refused. Those are my points, Chaza. Thank you.
Thank you so much. We do appreciate, your viewpoint, Lance. I've actually seen Chibonta, CJ, has actually, joined us also. Let's get to hear his viewpoint on these issues. CJ, good evening and welcome to the program.
Good evening, Chaza. Good evening, Lance, and good evening, viewers.
Thank you so much for joining us. Please go ahead and add your voice to these issues.
Well, my submissions on this particular topic, it is very, very sad that our children are being subjected to such kind of things. You know, as a parent, nikamvira nkani yaso chini baba maningi. Vana vatu need to be safe. And even worse, in that particular for that particular school, we hear that about 5 children were sodomized. 5. So meaning it's not a new thing. Imagine 5 vana vali 5. Come on. No, this is it's come on. It's highly and very unacceptable. Such things need to be taken very serious, and perpetrators are supposed to be prosecuted, even brought out in the open, so that when one say Baziva, it is a learning, it's a point of reference for people to know that such acts should not be entertained at whatever level. Our children are supposed to be safe. Okay? Parents take children to these boarding schools knowing that vana vazakula bwino, they'll be taken care of. Okay, they'll come out of the school with good character, good morals, and then such things begin to happen to them. Government should really look into this seriously, and I think You know, okay, looking at the whole story, what we're hearing, the back and forth where the teacher refuses, and it now starts making us speculate whether the boarding master is also involved in this issue or not. Okay, so it's a very sad thing. Our children need to be safe. We as parents need to feel that our children are safe when we take them to school. Unlike what is going on now, where now we start doubting whether our children are in safe hands. It is a very sad thing, and let it be taken very seriously, and the public punishment to deter other perpetrators from doing such things, yes, be really shown and be done. That's my submission. Thank you.
Thank you so much, CJ. We do appreciate it. We've been joined by Chipindani and also Mr. Mkelewai right here. Let me just invite Mr. Mkelewai before I get to Mr. Chipindani there. Mr. Mkelewai, please do come through. How are you doing this evening?
Good evening. I'm very fine, Chaza. How are you today?
I'm pretty fine. Please go ahead and add your voice to these issues at hand.
Yes, thank you so much. Much of I really not appreciate what is currently going on in a country where there has been a lot of talk of homosexuality recently, and I just hope that this is not a way of the people that have been propagating this this homosexuality, claiming that the current government supports homosexuality, when even when we have the president in place on record saying that he is not, and his government or the party does not support homosexuality, as the country is a Christian nation. But you see the people who are in the opposition are busy going around the country using propaganda and trying to bring down the legacy, or rather the fight the government is trying to put across. That's forcing them that they are promoting homosexuality, which is not, because we have the law that forbids homosexuality. And homosexuality, or sodomy, what you call it, sodomy, yes, or unnatured sexual, whatever, does not, in Zambia, it is illegal. And ever since we got our independence, or we inherited these laws from our British colonials, we know that it was homosexuality is a forbidden. It's forbidden in Zambia. It's against the law. We've had this law from inception. Now, today we hear cases that are coming out so rampantly, and I don't know. From my own opinion, this is my opinion, I feel like people are trying to divert the attention, or the of the nation, of the development and the going on in the country right now, to something that is immoral, something that we don't need even to talk about because it's dirty, and something that we should not even put our minds on, because the law is there. If somebody is found, if a child is sodomized and there is evidence, then the culprit is apprehended. Wow, the law is there. It's already tabulated. Those people, once they are found, they can be sentenced to prison for 15 years or even life imprisonment. We know. So I want people to understand, to say, let us be very mindful and careful. If we have proper evidence, let us proceed with these matters and report the matter to the relevant authorities, because we have the laws already in our favor. Homosexuality is forbidden in our country. And the people that are gay or homosexual, whatever, lesbian, they know that. They know that. We have laws. So let's just respect the law, the rule of law. In my opinion, they can actually be prosecuted, and if found guilty, they can be sentenced to a minimum sentence of 15 years or life imprisonment. It is there. Let's read the law. It has not started today. The law has been there. So tuipanga okutira tumone kwati elofire ekitika leero, and then ba UPN ndio ba New Dawn balechita promote, because that was the talk of the previous regime, that this new government is promoting gayism or homosexuality. That's not true. Bufubo, that's propaganda. So let's investigate matters, and once we have evidence, then the people that have found the perpetrators will be caged. Napush. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Mr. Mkeleba. It appears that, Pindani has, lost connectivity. I think at this point in time, we shall quickly get to the next story. Then on the other side, we get back to analyze that story.
So the police will get them the letter, but we just have a copy of the letter. The one we took, the letter, the commanding officer. Did they approve it? There was no approval, it was a notice. So if there was no approval, then what? No. But the law is clear that you're just supposed to give
Chaza,
the
it
notice.
looks.
It's a notice. Yes.
It's a notice.
Within 7 days, we did notice the police.
Then you wait for the approval.
No, but it's already more than 7 days. It has passed 7 days.
You wait for the approval. If that thing was approved, then you would have been on the road.
No, but if it was not approved, but if it
so
was
what
not
you are
approved,
doing, listen, what you are doing is illegal. You're not supposed to do this.
Okay, so when you look at the law, please, let's be straight.
Let me just finish. If you want, with whatever you are doing, yes, the best that you can do, go to ministries of gender. Go to ministry of gender.
How does the ministry of gender come?
No, I cannot answer that one. Go to ministry of gender and register your movement.
No.
For now, what you are doing is illegal because it is not. Excuse me, ma'am. It is not approved by the police. You go to the commanding officer. Did the commanding officer approve this?
We notified not to get an approval. If there was anything that the police felt was not okay, you were supposed to tell us that no, you can't go on this day because there will be this thing happening. So we didn't receive any feedback, and we notified already. We even paid at the council. So that's what the law requires. No. The follow-ups have been made every day. And you know what the police were doing? The police were refusing to sign on the letter that received. They were refusing from last week. Refusing. They never wanted to sign acknowledging that they have received the letter. So this thing is wrong. It is very wrong because it is sending an impression as if you don't want people to fight homosexuality. If at all the police saw that there is something wrong, we are not supposed to march because of any reason, they would have told us not to bring a letter, and then the police are refusing to even just acknowledge the receipt of a letter. It is very wrong. It shouldn't happen. And I'm sure none of you would be happy to be involved in homosexuality or their child to be involved in homosexuality. We are supposed to hold hands and work together as a team to fight this. So for us, we want to be heard by the head of state because we do understand that the head of state is going to send a strong warning. The same way he has taken a strong stance against corruption and the cadres. Right now we don't have cadres because the head of state made it clear that they are going to arrest anyone who was going to do that. So we want the same thing. So we want to abolish homosexuality. We received just yesterday. The police were reporting how you are arresting people who are sodomizing others. It's because of the same homosexuals who are doing this. So we don't even understand how this is supposed to be a contentious issue. Because we expected full support. And the police were even supposed to be with us, even guide us and move with us. So we can't do this.
We understand.
We do understand. So let's go to Lusaka Central. And then Batenga, then to Lusaka Central, Batenga Penny, Mugere Bulopino Parot. So let's go. Excuse me, officers, take them, let's go. Let's go to Lusaka Central. Let's go to Lusaka Central. Let's go.
I'm sorry, I'm in a mood.
We are not saying.
No, I'm a journalist.
He's a journalist.
He's got the right to do that. He's got the right to do that.
From the media.
Yes. He's a journalist.
But shall we have order here? This
This
is
is
the
manage
GTV,
standing.
all right? You understand? Shall we have order? Sit. Brother man, shall we have order? Okunkala, officers, I need officers this side. Okay, hey, no one sits beside the pattern. Not you go mine.
No. No one will.
Please, I beg of you. Okay, you understand?
We are all the same.
Police. Excuse me. I need order. Madam, excuse me. Officers, bankale pakati once. Azagwa mozi hapa azambo kanga everyone mkati maofficers ndio wankala mbali. Pakati. Yeah.
There we have it, a peaceful demonstration that, came to a halt, due to an approved notice. And one thing that I was, glad with is that, people are alert. They know what the law provides, and they know the lacuna in the law, and they know their rights. Seemingly journalists were actually told to stop, taking videos and photos of what was ongoing, and they said, no, I'm a journalist and I have a right to do so. Your reaction, Lance, to this particular story?
Thank you so much, Chaza. This story, when I first looked at it, my reaction mostly went towards the arresting of journalists. Chaza, it is a duty for each and every journalist or for a media house to give coverage to whoever that approaches them for coverage, or to bring to the media is the bridge between the people and the news sources. Now, in this instance, I was vexed at that superintendent, for the fact that she ordered for the arrest of those journalists. whether that function was illegal or legal, a journalist's work is to go and film and report to the people what has been filmed or what was happening at that particular gathering. So it was so sad that it had to take spokesperson Ray Hamonga to give guidance to that superintendent to say, can you release the journalists because they did not do anything wrong? And this took me back to 2016, Chaza. I remember me and my fellow journalists were bundled up. I don't know what's with Kawata officers. I don't know what's with them. They just have a thing of arresting journalists for no good reason or for no reason, apparently. We were bundled up, journalists, for apparently covering what they termed illegal. It had to take then Charity Katanga to give an order to say, can you release the journalists? Because it is their work to inform the nation. So I was vexed and I had to even take it on Twitter, to post that a journalist is entitled to do their work whether the function is legal or illegal. That is stipulated. We are here to inform. We are here to tell you what happened at a certain function that took place. That's why we are trained. So therefore, a journalist must be left to work freely unless if they are going beyond what is stipulated in the law. Okay, what is stipulated in the law, a journalist only becomes liable when you write something which is malicious or which is against a source, or you are you are defaming the other person. That's when the law comes in to come and caution the journalist. But it took Ray. Journalists were late to go to freedom. Coming back to the other group, like Mokeleva said, you need to investigate. I did my investigation, Chaza. Apparently, Dr. Sampa and that group is a breakaway from another group of youths that wanted to protest. And the general idea was that this group, apparently, that consists of 600 youths, had planned, or they went to the police to get a permit, which they were given. According to the group's leader, they were given that permit for them to protest on that very day when Asampa was arrested. But them, upon realizing that maybe President Hichilema wasn't going to be in the country, he was scheduled for New York, and they wanted to extend the march from cabinet office. As you know, religious affairs is now under vice president. So the initial was they were supposed to go to cabinet office, deliver their petition to VIP, and then go to Home Affairs, deliver their second petition to the Minister of Home Affairs. Then the third petition, they had planned to say they have to take it direct to State House, President Hichilema. And upon realizing that President Hichilema wasn't likely going to be in the country on that day, it's them, actually, the group that went to the police to say, can we extend, instead of protesting this week, can we protest next week when we know that the president will be in the country? And the police, being professional, they accepted to that extension. Alas, they were shocked to hear that Vena Sampa broke away from that group, whatever they wanted to achieve, broke away from that group, went on the street. Yes, we know you are supposed to notify the police, but yes, in notifying, the police should pay acknowledgement of that notification. Say, yes, you have notified us and you can go ahead. It's not really a permit, it's just a notification. But the police have to say, yes, you have notified us, and on this day they will guide. On this day we have such and such activities, and looking at the number that you are, you might cause this type of congestion on the road. So therefore, do not do it this day because we do not have enough manpower, but do it on a particular day. So when Asamba were wrong because the initial of that protest, the group, the NGO that applied for that protest and applied for that permit, they got the permit, and it's them that postponed. So with Venasampa, whatever they tried to achieve, that was their baby. Yes, it's a right call of protest against LGBT, but let's follow the law. I am only vexed with journalists being bundled up in that manner when they are simply doing their work. That's my submission, Chaza.
Thank you so much. We do appreciate Lance for that information that is not even there in the clip. At this point in time, I invite you, Mr. Mukeleba, do add your voice to this issue at hand.
Thank you so much, Chaza. And thank you, Lance, for having employed the investigative journalism of investigativeness. That's what we need in Zambia today, and that's what we are lacking. Because certain people does really take advantage of other groups. Like you have stated already that this gentleman, the doctor in question, to me simply hijacked the initiative, the initial initiative of the youths or the people that were legitimately allowed to even protest. They went and followed the right. You know what kills me, what really hits me is the manner in which that officer, that when we are claiming or condemning that she mishandled or arrested those people, listen to her command, listen to her request, listen to the way she was speaking to those individuals. I do not see an element of her arresting or even having the intention to arrest those people. All she was trying to do there was to do her police work. She was doing her police work. And look at that gentleman in the car. The way he was protecting the so-called protesters or the journalists. Because when you are picking up people and advising them, please, look, come to the police station. We can sort out. That was the instruction that lady spoke. Listen to what officers say. Do not just rush and conclude and say they were arrested, because that's what we hear. Now it's the government that is wrong, which is a wrong narrative, the wrong propaganda. So our doctor, palichimocho balefwaya, Baba doctor, te abe never there kuri protested work for alcoholism, whatever you. I don't know if he's the one, but if he's that the one, how did he just jump from one tree to another immediately? What is his main aim? He may have the right cause, but sometimes we don't just jump around when you hear people want to protest, wautukirako, and you will become the ringleader already. Awe, take a doctor, investigate and respect. Don't take over other people's initiative. The protest, the intentions for the protest was okay, was well. But remember, you protest where the government or the people in authority are not doing anything towards what is happening in a country. If there has been lesbianism, gayism, homosexuality being practiced in Zambia, and you see it with evidence, you have evidence, that's when you can simply, and the government are not doing anything, then you can actually appeal and protest. But where you hear the head of state, it's just 2 days ago, where he stood on the podium, negating, refusing to be part of the country, being part of supporting of homosexuality. And then tomorrow, you jump with placards and go and say, hey, there's too much gayism in this country. We are protesting. There will be questions. So there must be something beyond this. In my own opinion, there's something beyond this, what these chaps are trying to propagate. But guess what? It won't work because we have the law in place. And the law will take its course. Anyone found to be practicing homosexuality, if at all it is practiced, you will be if you are found, you will be dealt with. And because we have the law, we just have to respect the law, whether you like it or not. Whether we are human rights activists trying to protect any individual in this country, whether gay or not gay, the law is there. You'll be arrested and taken to court. It's chapwa. So in my opinion, they are just trying to take advantage of the youth movement, the people that started this movement, so that they could air their views. Who got the permit themselves? They got permission because those chaps needed protection. When you go out to protest, you need to be protected as well. Your life is at stake because there are people who are against what you are protesting, and there are people who are for. So what would happen if there was some chaos that took place and people died? Were they going to simply come and say, no, we're waiting for 7 days, we did not receive the permit, and we didn't have, where were the police? Because it's the police that were going to be blamed in this, had there been any chaos. I'm just glad that the police, they're so professional, and kudos to that woman, kudos to the officers in the car that was trying to protect the journalist and those that were in the car. Their lives mattered most. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Mr. Mukelebai. CJ Chibonta there, I can see you. Please do come through and add your voice to the issue at hand.
Thank you, Chaza. To start with, I'll say I do not agree with homosexuality. For me, that is a no-no. Okay, I do not agree with it, and we should not tolerate such things. I know there are people that are seriously propagating that, and it is perceived there is a lot of funding when it comes to such issues. Okay, but as a Christian nation, we shouldn't condone such kind of a thing. No, we shouldn't. Vanatiresa kukwatira vakazi vambiri mpari polygamy atiai, and then manje kugona mwamuna na mwamuna, it should be acceptable. No, iyo evyo ni no chabio iyai. We need to use our heads and shouldn't condone things that are haywire. Coming to the issue of the arrest, yes, Ray Hamonga issued a statement to that effect that there was a cancellation in the notification. Now, for me, I find it a bit okay. For a lack of a better term, I don't know if I would say unprofessional, or there's a gap somewhere. The police should have had proper information even when they were engaging Dr. Sampa. Because when they went there, they should have told him to say, the notification that you had given, you requested that the demonstration be pushed to another day. But what are you doing here? That was blank. Okay? It's like she didn't have that information. So police need to be on top of their game so that even when they are engaging, they engage in issues directly and the correct picture is sent. Because the way it is, what is going on social media, we have the impression that police are unprofessional, and to some degree they don't want the fight against homosexuality. Because Dr. Sampa is there saying they refused to sign on the notification. That's what is in the clip. And the officer does not rebuttal that, okay? She seems to be quiet, and one would assume that's what was actually happening. So we are left to speculate what is what. So police need to be on top of their game so that even when they're executing their duty, they seem to be doing it professionally and the levels of speculation are reduced. Otherwise, choose chizamba kuenda so chape. The procedure that they did might have not been correct. That is Dr. Sampa and the team, but also the police in handling this issue, there was a gap. That is my submission. Thank you.
Thank you so much, CJ. We do appreciate. And quickly, we get to the next story and still do come back and get to add our point of view there on that particular story. Let's move on.
A 15-year-old girl was allegedly defiled by a 48-year-old man of the same neighborhood. The victim's sister narrates what transpired.
Banamuitana bwela onipengile mnyumba na wakanira na Chaza mzaso wa chintu mnyumba mwani mzakamba nieve aba banabwela futi again timufuna mfana wako mfuna nipengile mnyumba nishibaja bamuna bali mnyumba munje balinkani na matkansi chosani mbala kushtenjana akusukire nkonche mbali pamela chosambali nezeni nkale paka bench asuka mbali nchina ine nilipo kasi shoja muna balipo so naendo wauza ti sister wake alipo alipanja so siza muitana bana nyamuka ninaenda kumtendela na sala then lelo kuseni kuma 6 naenda ku UTH nibwelele mvera ati mfana wako kunwa mgwira hule wa mimi naja mnaona pesa mnyumba ndio mnashani ndio bamine bamulepinga.
Neighbors are not happy with this.
Tipempa nja kuti boma ifunika che yatitandiza because ma issues yenangu yamasilira pa polisi so tipempa muno mkalikiriki community mwatu aya ma cases ya ma deformment ni ambiri yachitika
kapaja na bapeza watate munyumba baniuza tingena munyumba napeza watate bali chintako na shirt kulibe na trousers kulibe manje ni bwelele ine ndipo banigwira na kunigoneka pansi.
The suspect's father say only results from the clinic will prove these allegations.
So yo akambota hapa kulibe mitinga moje face tiembekezele bamene baenda kuti ku kliniki leni baja bakachoka kuti ne permit za muzani maliza kuti aliswali.
The area councillor Shadrack Chimwanga is concerned about the increasing cases of defilement in this part of Kalikiliki.
Here in Kalikiliki ward, we have been having defilement cases. So I'm appealing to my fellow men. Ngati mmangala my feelings maningi. Please, endani mukasakirako wasaizi yanu. Nimambili wakazi komboni.
At the time the news crew visited the crime scene, the victim was said to be at Mtendere Clinic, still being attended to.
A docket of case has been opened and a medical report has been issued, and we have since arrested the suspect.
Martha Banazar, NBC News.
Right, I like what the area councillor said. He said it like Paul did. Paul was saying, if you can stay away from women because of being prayerful and dedicated to preaching the word of God, you can stay single. But if you cannot, please marry. That's what he said. If your feelings are not are too much, you should find, those people that are of your age. I think that was a wise saying. Your reaction, let me start from you, Mr. Mkelebai.
Yeah. Okay, it bleeds. I bleed in my heart when I hear men abusing women, especially sexually, or even physical, whatever, or beating or mental. It's it's an abuse, and especially sexual matters, sexual related cases. These are very serious, and the law is there and protects women at all costs. And the only funny part was the clip confused me a little bit. I don't know if I'm the only one. Defilement simply means that any man that has carnal knowledge with a female or a young girl of the age below the age of is it 16 years? Yes. So is guilty of an offense called defilement. Now, when I saw the woman that was saying banani gwira na mapeza watate vaina chintako, I don't know. Well, looks can be deceiving. I don't know if that woman, young girl, she's. Because to me, I saw her as an adult, and if she was violated, that does not give an excuse. Yeah, that woman. That does not give an excuse, of course, for a man to grab a woman without her consent. You know, consent in when someone is an adult, of course, matters in any rape case. Without her being given a chance to get into this herself, then definitely the man is guilty of an offense. So that's why we need also to educate our communities. This is where now the NGOs, those NGOs that are promoting human rights, this is your job. Some of us, we used to be one of those people that used to go around in those areas, especially the compounds. We know that our masses are somehow not aware of their own their rights. They don't know the law. It's up to us, the people that are enlightened with the laws, to go and educate the masses on their rights. What their rights are, who can be defiled, who can be raped. Because a big woman can be raped, a child can be raped, of course, but we can categorically define it as defilement, because this is an infant or a child that did not even have any. Even if a young girl goes and say, yes, I love you too, but because of her age, she's below the age of 16, then the man will be guilty for defilement. So this is where even na miambo ngati wagona mwana mkazi wa musikana moe or akalibe onkala moe, they say wachita deflower, ndi bazakupasana mulandu. It starts from those little things. But we need to educate our community on their rights, and especially on these sexual related cases. Otherwise, I'm glad that the police are very active in this, and they have apprehended the suspects, and the case is going to court, which is a good thing. That's what we need. Anybody that commits such crimes will be dealt with by the law, and the police are there, and the case is going to be handled definitely. But vaja ni bakulu si bafana, and she can't be defiled. She can only be sexually harassed or abused or raped. I think that's what I can say. But she still has a claim. She's still eligible to complain if she is violated. Ndalumba Kapati.
All right, thank you so much, Mr. Mukeleva, and thank you so much for that observation and the clarification between, defilement and rape. When I saw the clip myself, I thought she was, somebody that went into that house where the young girl was defiled from, and she was trying to rescue the girl, and probably she was also, victimized by the defiler. But, Lance is nodding his head. Probably he's got, more information than, myself. Lance, I invite you to actually add your voice to this story.
Thank you so much, Chaza. And Womukelevai, that woman is not the one that was defiled. I think the reporter mentioned to say when they went to the scene, the victim wasn't there, as she was still at the hospital. I'm sure where they were trying to get medical and everything to do with that. So like Chaza has said, that woman was more like the girl's rescuer, and in rescuing, in fact, she's the one that found even this man in his birthday suit, or in his birth suit, and tried to also take advantage of the woman, which obviously wasn't fruitful. And it's pretty sad, really sad, that our children, Chaza, are no longer safe. You take them to school, there's sodomy. You leave them in the compounds, they are hungry men that want to victimize them or that want to rape them. This is really sad. And as Mukelebai has said, the work of an NGO that looks at child marriage, early marriage, or sex and everything to do with that should not end. These people, it's their daily duty to go into compounds and teach about the dangers of obviously rape, the dangers of defilement, and maybe if these older men don't know who a child is, let them be taught each and every day so that we get to do away with these cases. And unfortunately, as the councillor said, in his ward, those cases are rampant, meaning that it is both his duty as a councillor together with his office and well-meaning Zambians to go around his ward. Kalikiliki ward is very big, by the way, and he is the only independent councillor, the whole Lusaka. He is the only one that stood independently and won. And he has so many issues. I have a chat with him on a daily basis, and he has many challenges that he's facing in his ward. So it's the duty of well-meaning Zambians, together with NGOs, the councillor's office, and also the area member of parliament, to sensitize the people about the dangers of having canon knowledge of a young child that doesn't know anything. Hopefully, justice will prevail in this matter, and as police have put it, the suspect is in custody, which is very commendable and welcome. And I even like the father of this suspect, who is very calm and even say, we are waiting for results to come from the hospital, and only that will determine if truly this guy raped the girl or not. So we just hope that this case, as the women claimed, does not end ya siri la chepa police paper jai. If this guy raped this child, take him to court. Isasilire pa police ati ai bazadiamo iai bamvera na ba family. No, take them to court, let them pay from the court and serve a sentence, so that it serves as a warning to would-be perpetrators or to would-be defilers in that particular ward. Thank you so much, Chaza.
Well, I think part of it is actually, because of even concoctions that men take, in these compounds, as sexual, remedies and so on and so forth. And they take them in overdose because they are not actually even dosed, according to probably what one may take. And as a result, these are the repercussions where there's, some abnormalities that will affect the operation of the brain, the brain, and by the end of the day, they get to find themselves, in such acts, because after defiling the girl, again, this man, aimed at, touching this old woman. So it's not normal, it's not normal at all. So I'd request our director, if we can get to the next story, to be the one that is talking about, one who was injected, something that, was purported to be for family planning, so that we get to even learn from there further according to the abuse of, these concoctions that are in the compounds. Let's do so. I must have, caught him unaware as he's preparing,
Musonda was a bubbly woman and happily married with 5 children, with the youngest being 11 months old. She ran a number of businesses, among them a bottle store, and would travel other towns to sell second-hand clothes and fish. She is no longer doing her businesses as she emerges from her mother's house in John Lane compound after she was discharged from hospital on Saturday. She has lost weight and painfully recalls what happened on August 11, 2022 when she was at a bottle store in Chaza compound. She recollects that some women in the area had recommended to her a self-proclaimed doctor who had been helping
It appears we have a problem there with our clip. It has frozen. I must believe that, it's a problem with connectivity. And unfortunately, we could not see it to the end. But I don't know if we may have a replay or something. We have an idea of the story.
Nancy
So
Musonda
maybe
was
we
a
can
bubbly
just take...
woman and happily married with 5 children, with the youngest being 11 months old. She ran a number of businesses, among them a bottle store, and would travel other towns to sell second-hand clothes and fish. She is no longer doing her businesses as she emerges from her mother's house in John Lane compound after she was discharged from hospital on Saturday. She has lost weight and painfully recalls what happened on August 11, 2022 when she was at a bottle store in Chaza compound. She recollects that some women in the area had recommended to her a self-proclaimed doctor who had been helping a lot of women and girls to avoid conceiving through contraceptives.
Na bwana wafunsa mungapezeke na family planning ya 3 months ati nilinayo nizingati 20 kwacha au bwana munira seko ndemwe nangenera na beve mu shop pamene nangena na beve mu shop short time anabwera banuza na bwera short time bangena nishina ma customers babiri mu shop banabwana nishibafakira tu munkwala mu syringe so pamene banangena mu shop muja benzana na bwana tambika kwanja kuti banirase so uja customer nabwa bafunsa kuti nanga munkwala mene mufuno balasa ni munkwala bwanji babwa akambati uyu munkwala kuli munkwala wamena pala nisako nobolo yankatia ifa pala na chabe.
The 20 kwacha she paid the imposter doctor cost her hand as it gradually started to waste away.
Pamene pajapeba na nirasa pajapa kwanja pabwa papompeka papanga kwatira ikapute chinabwa cha pompeka che chikulu cha laundi nifika chepa kliniki cha polika pajapame cha polika chezo chosa va green vonunka ndemo anabana nilembera emergency Kanyama hospital. Kanyama hospital baenda mukunifinako banifinako pa Wednesday hapo. After banifinako babola wakamba tukabwere pa Thursday tikabwetika kilini na futi. Ninaenda pa Thursday. Naenda pa Thursday bakilinako na bwerera ku nyumba stupeni sienze kusira
She has wondered why the imposter has remained at Chaza police station when he is supposed to be held in a prison.
Zapempache government initandizire ine mwenza sungira bana banga bakuma skulu bali na pama private sinizi bakutinza basunga bwanji nipempa kuli ba government banitandizire ine then uja muntu ine niganiza chamangiwe chifukwa ananipaya.
Her brother suspects that his sister was administered poison because her 11-month-old child almost died after being breastfed.
Kali punch time ine omwana wakwe uyo oli mwipa kulini alisa onka kuibere ili waonkele kuibere umwana alisa kwatto obwafya amba nokula polomya echalengere nabafyasha abana kashikushito mukakano kumunuisha.
Her mother has never recovered from having a breadwinner disabled and no longer providing for the family.
Nilipenda poka hata bana. Na bakuja bakuti ni mpase kuno kwacha kulipi. Ndi wamene nzoni sunga ndi wamene asunga na bana asunga na bafana baki. Inanipa ila mwana.
Nancy has left a matrimonial home in Garden House to recover at her mother's house. There are a number of self-proclaimed doctors in most densely populated neighborhoods of Lusaka. They claim to be specialists in pregnancy-related issues such as illegal abortions and curing sexually transmitted diseases, among others, using fake medicines. Frequent and random cleanups by authorities, especially in chemists, whose majority are operating illegally, will go a long way in avoiding the story of Nancy repeating itself. It's a painful lesson for all and Sundari. Tito Kalama.
It's a sad story indeed. We see that woman, anguishing in that manner. I think let me invite you, Lance, to take up this one, as the first person to react to it.
Well, thank you so much, Chaza. It's a sad ordeal that we are seeing there of a young woman, obviously. Her life ended like that because with that amputation, obviously, she won't be able to do much as she was doing before the amputation of the arm. And this is really a call for a serious cleanup in these compounds and these communities that we live in. We have seen many people losing their lives, at the not really at the pretext, but in the hands of these self-proclaimed doctors. We have seen unprofessional abortions being done and medicine being administered to these young girls that have gone for abortion, they without even being told properly on the dose how to go about it or how to do this thing. So a serious cleanup needs to be done. But again, this Chaza, unapologetically, let me say, it should serve as a warning to these women that want to do things shortcutly. What stopped this woman from going to a nearby clinic, first level hospital, or a hospital to go and get herself the 2 months family planning that she wanted? What stopped her? She might be busy, yes, but obviously there's a day that she doesn't open that bottle store of hers. And I don't think it would even take much time for her to go through and get it professionally from a qualified doctor or nurse in a health institution. So this should serve as a warning, not only to women, but also to young girls that opt for these bush doctors, I would call them, because these are bush doctors that maybe anze ku school ya healthy, then first year yeija anaferuka, as you know, kaferuka kulibe kupitiriza ninkanya kutira njere iwe chajuba, then they claim that they are doctors. Kaiskasira kataito, ni doctor benzo mwita na doctor ku school, so kataito skasira. These are the effects. So women should learn, our ladies should learn to say shortcuts do not pay off. What will happen to the family? You've heard the mother. She was the breadwinner. She has 5 children, the youngest one being 11 months old. What happens? She has moved from her matrimonial home to her mother's. Is this going to be a burden for the husband to take care of the other house? What will happen? Will the husband divorce her because she was negligent? There are so many questions that come in because of her negligence. So please, our women, our ladies, our female folks, do things the right way. Mashortcut siatandiza paliponse iyayi ni mavuto yeka yeka. And please, government, let's clean up these bush doctors. Let them stop practicing what they're doing. Chaza, I've lived in a compound where naonapo pharmacy yaseguka, quite all right, where segula pharmacy, maybe ni pharmacist ku hospital, maybe ni nurse ku hospital. But where ndo ikamogulisa, muntu akutanjere alibe na idea ya matenda, muntu akabwera awe nenimvera mutu ati yaitenga lufenaki. Anazivira kuti lufenaki ndiye ya mutu. Who told her or who told the boy? So these are the things we need to look into. Thank you so much, Chaza.
Thank you so much. And indeed, you cannot be too busy for your own health. I think that's a lesson that we draw from there. Mr. Mkeleba, you can come through and add your voice to this story.
Thank you very much. Well, Lance, you nailed it. it's quite it's a quite sad situation that we know that this woman definitely she was negligent on her part. You know, there's what we call, you know, if you've done law, you know, the law of tort. There's contributory negligence where both you contributed to the accident, because had it not for you to approach the so-called doctor, you were not going to, or had you done your homework properly, you were not going to lose your arm. Definitely, the gentleman that injected the toxic whatever in her arm is going to receive the punishment. However, but that does not exonerate this woman also for having had not done her homework, and due to either ignorancy, she goes and, you know, ignorance is not a defense. Napaya muntu sinezoziva, I'm sorry. You can't be exonerated from that. So in his case, she made a mistake as well, and she contributed to this. She ought to have gone to the proper institutions, the clinic, not private, or you want to make quick money, or kapenati kamba ni mavuto analengesa. But it seems to me she was making good money. She has some shops. She was doing something. She was actually, she could have actually afford the services of any private or an institution, a medical services. So ine apa niona kuti vamai vanatava maningi vanaenda kuli vintu vamene sivisevenza. So ine chamene ninguopempa chabe ni vantu vatu vari mumakomboni ava, please namapapata funsani endani kuma institution yo mene muziva kuti ava kapena ni ya boma or ni anachita registered. I know you cannot start investigating, but I think the best thing is do the right thing. Don't go kunganga. Nganga, to be honest with you, they will bring you top trouble. They may even end up killing you by giving you concoction. But chamene wafuna apo chabebebe wafuna chani drama. They are interested in drama because life yawavuta, mapunziro walibe, nchito walibe, chamene bali nacho chabe ni kunama bantu boza baja bali na drama kuti beve bachite bwanji bapeze drama. So you have to be very very mindful na ma medication yamene mufuna otenga ku bantu bamene balibe ma qualifications bamene si bali ma doctors, especially ma witch doctors, kind of ma witch doctors or traditional doctors. Sivo ivo bazami onongera chabe life yanu, bazami onongera chabe umoyo wanu, and imwe ndimwe muzakasala muvutika manje mwazionera manje kwanja imwe kuna juvio eve alina manja abiri, eve anaenda kuboma, kuja kuboma azafika kukoti azabapempa wakukoti munikurulukireko sine kapena nenze namwamoba o nenze ninakolewa nenze na ma problem munikurulukireko 2 months bamuchosa imwe kwanja yo siza kamela kuti obwerera kuti mere kwasira imwe munaluza kwanje kwasira. So you have to be very careful nkani ama abortion endani kuvipatala volondoloka vamene muziva ni vaboma or ma private hospitals yolondoloka ndiye pamene mungaende kuenda kutenga minkwala o kutenga advice, not kamuntu kachave kali na ka chemistry mu compound kalibe na ma qualification ati ndine doctor awe mukaziva kanira abo bebe vanga mamangiwe po impersonating ma doctors ma doctora and nochita inja society ziko mkwambi.
All right, thank you so much, Mr. Mkeleva. Little did I know that you know, you can speak good Nyanja like that, you know.
I'm Zambian, Chaza. I'm Zambian. I'm not a foreigner.
Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. It's been a nice time with you here on the program. Not forgetting, you know, I don't know really if I should call him my co-host or I'll call him an analyst also, because he's been so instrumental, you know, in analyzing the stories also, Lancy Sani Banda. We do greatly appreciate as Ubuntu, not forgetting those of you that have been, you know, following the program, the viewers, and the participants that have, you know, sent in those messages. We do appreciate. Not forgetting the followers on Facebook and YouTube, not forgetting Twitter. It's been a point of view. It comes your way every Saturday at 9 p.m. right here on Ubuntu channel. I've been your host, Chaza. Do join us even next week. Till then, we are saying God bless you all.